to Beyond Evil, a true crime. I am your host, Kimberly Carroll, and I am bringing you a case that is actually still in the courts right now. It is the case of Antonio AJ Armstrong, who is on trial for murdering his parents in 2016. At that time, Antonio was 16 years old. He's currently now 19, 20, probably 20 by now because I don't know his birthday. He was tried and the jury was unable to put forth a unanimous decision of guilt or innocence. So there was a jury of 7 women and 5 men, and 8 thought he was guilty, 4 thought he wasn't. So they are retrying him. He will be retried in April of this year if things go as planned. And I followed the first trial, so I kind of wanted to come to you guys and see what you thought and how you feel about the case. Just to be upfront, I believe he's guilty based off of the documents and everything that I have and I've gathered. And what I generally do is I use the Freedom Act to gather records, and I watched videos of the trial and all of that. So I basically want to see what you guys think. I'm going to give you the Cliff Note version of it so that you guys will have some of the facts. So, but let's just start off with Antonio. We're going to call him AJ. AJ came from a really good family from the outside looking in. Of course, we never know what goes on behind closed doors, but from what I gathered, it was a really good family. What I continue to see in the courts, his grandparents believe wholeheartedly on both sides that he's innocent. So I see the love there. And so I believe he came from a really good home. He got a brand new car at 16. He went to a private school. They tried to give him everything they could. Armstrong Sr. used to play for the Dolphins and I believe the 49ers. So he got him some coins. And then he put that into gyms. And I do know they are a really religious family. So there was a lot of church activities and so on and so forth. It was said that the relationship between Antonio and his parents was pretty bad. But I don't know many 16-year-olds that don't have some type of shaky relationship with their parent just because of teenage attitudes and, egos and all of that good stuff. So I don't personally believe he's guilty based off of the text messages that the court put forward, which is the prosecution, stating, how the parents thought he was a disappointment to them. They were going to pull him out of his private school and, all of this. I personally, I don't understand how you reprimanding your child via text, but that's just me. I'm like, what? You didn't have this conversation? But maybe they did. And this is just an extension of it. I don't know. But the text messages, they didn't really do much for me, as well as the girlfriend who testified that he had been texting her all night and he was, everything was good. How can he go from texting and talking to her being this kitty, childish kid to a cold-blooded killer? I don't know, but I know we see it time and time again. So, but that, and the sister, the 12-year-old sister, she took the stand and she wholeheartedly believes her brother did not do this. Now, if you have not heard of this case at all, let me give you a little bit of the background. The parents were killed. There were 4 people in that house: mom, dad, AJ, and 12-year-old sister. There is another brother who is their stepbrother. I believe he's biological child of the mom. I can't remember, but I think it's the mom. And he lived like less than 5 minutes away. He had just moved out maybe 2 or 3 weeks prior to the shooting. The defense is saying it could be him. He came back from college. He was doing some drugs. He has mental illness. It could be him. And because, he is jealous that his stepbrother and sister get better treatment than him. When you killed his sister and brother, I'm not saying they're the ones who deserve to be dead or anything, but I'm just saying, Okay, that didn't sound to me. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't personally believe that. I personally don't believe that it was the brother. So that's just me. But there is, you know, there's obviously some doubt because 4 people decided that they could not find him guilty. So let's go through some of the facts in the case. The gun belonged to Armstrong Sr. It was in his nightstand. So I take it the defense wants us to believe that the killer showed up to the house, went to the father's side of the bed, took his gun out. Mind you, this is a killer who came to the house ill-prepared. In his, oh, he has a weapon, I'm going to use that gun. Okay. I don't know where they do that at, but okay. So he took the gun out of the drawer, goes around the bed to shoot the mother twice, comes back around to or however it went, to shoot the father, but only shoots the father once. Now, my thought is that I'm sure that the father woke up right after that first shot, unless he sleeps really hard, and it gave them the opportunity to shoot the mother again and then shoot the father. I don't know all the details on that, but one would think that you would disarm the athlete. So why wouldn't you shoot the father first? And then you got the gun from that side of the bed. So why wouldn't you shoot the father first? So many are saying that, he held real hate for his mom for whatever reason, for her reprimanding him and whatever. So that's why he shot the mom first and shot her twice. I personally believe he shot her. I don't know why he shot her first, but I believe he didn't know that he didn't have enough bullets to shoot his father again. That's just my thought. The mother died at the scene. The father would die later at the hospital. But AJ would wait 31 minutes before calling 911. That brings in, was he waiting to see if his father died? What you waiting 31 minutes for to call? You hear shots? Everybody got a cell phone by their bed, if not attached to them, at most of the day. Why are you not calling 911 immediately, as soon as you hear a shot? He's in shock. He doesn't know. He's scared. Okay, I believe all of that 100%, but 31 minutes of shock, 31 minutes of fear. So what on that 31 minute mark changed for you to say, okay, I can call now? You see what I mean? So I'm not buying it. The gun that was used was found on the kitchen counter downstairs alongside a note that read, "We're watching you." That was like scratched, where you, not handwritten, where you can like check the signature, but like just scratched in like a whole bunch of slashes this way, a whole bunch of slashes, to make the letters. No DNA, no fingerprints on the note, the pen, or the gun. Now, AJ would be interviewed, of course, when he's taken in, and he told the cops that, one, he told several lies. One, he told them that he never touched the gun. Then he told them that he did, but when he was like 8, and his dad only had that gun for like 3 years. He's 16. That math don't work, bruh. So then they asked him, okay, well, we found holes, a bullet hole in the floor. Then he had to say, oh, well, I forgot. I was using it and I shot off a hole in the floor. Sketchy, all the way sketchy. So it's like, okay, you had the week before you used the gun to shoot through a pillow and the floor. The parents were shot through a pillow. It's a little bit, that's coincidence number one. He then a week before, he Googled how to disarm a vehicle. Why are we Googling that?
On the website liveabout.com, they say,
oh, wow. Why is my Google, my Alexa talking? Did I say Alexa? I don't think I did. One moment. Wow. Now they think I'm trying to figure out how to disarm a car because I put the Google word. It wasn't my Alexa talking. It was my Google Nest talking. So yeah, now nobody better die in a vehicle accident for some time because I just Googled it. But anyway, so he did that. And then he also set a fire in the house. He first tried to lie and say that his sister did it. Then he took the blame for it and said it was an accident. So you're trying to set the house on fire. You're trying to do something to the car where something goes bad. Really? I'm sorry, but this is all sounding really bad right now. When he called 911, he said, this is all my fault. I don't know when, where, how anyone is going to say something is their fault where there isn't some type of fault. Now, they had a home alarm. Now, let me tell you about the home alarm first. After, but first things first. If he would have said something like I left a door open or I didn't turn the alarm on, I can see where he says this is my fault. But that ain't the case. Their home alarm, the defense is trying to say it was faulty because it didn't register any doors opening or closing after the time it was turned on when everybody was supposed to be sleeping and the time they turned it off to let the police in. Nothing. Now, I've had home alarms, and when you set it, if I open a window, I can set it where if I open a window, it doesn't go off, but it registered that I opened a window. I had it where I set it for downstairs, but not for anything upstairs. So if anybody's walking around downstairs, my alarm is going to go off. You can walk around upstairs all you want. This was a tri-level home that AJ was living in. He was on the top. His bedroom was on the top floor. His parents and his sister were on the second level. And then the living space, kitchen, all that was at the bottom. He said that he heard the shots in his parents' room. I don't know how their house is made up where he knew for a fact that the shots came out of his parents' room. But to me, I'm like, okay, the shots came out of your parents' room. Then why you didn't run and try to get your sister? And in those 31 minutes, did you get your sister? Well, it was stated no, that he didn't. He was in the closet hiding. I don't understand that. A lot of people are saying he was changing his clothes. But this is where the changing of the clothes issue comes in because supposedly a 22 doesn't leave gun shot residue. I didn't know that. I haven't Googled it to find out, but that's what I heard. That's what they said at the trial. So, okay, no gunshot on 22? Then why did the prosecution check the sinks to see if he watched anything? Because it was not like it was a knife or something like that. It was a gun. So I don't really, get that part of it. But hey, people do. They've been doing this for years. This is their job. This is a hobby for me. So I'm just, pulling shit out of the air. But from what I did pull out of the air, he supposedly wouldn't have any gun residue on him. Okay, so if we're not going to have any gun residue on him, then we ain't worried about the sinks and we're not worried about anything else. But did you find any gloves or anything because it didn't have any fingerprints or any of his DNA? So that's where I think a lot, the 4 jurors that said they can't find him guilty because there was absolutely no DNA or anything on the gun, but there weren't any gloves or anything. Well, my thing is that you can wipe it down. That's where you're definitely going to get rid of any fingerprints or DNA or have on gloves. And so if you didn't find any gloves, he could have just wiped it down. And there's supposedly no gunshot residue. So therefore, anything you find is not going to have it on it. Well, then somebody tried to say, oh, well, it'll have a little, but it'll be very faint. Make up your mind. Okay, so I'm like, okay, let's move past that because I'm still stuck at the fact that the alarm didn't go off at all. But you want me to believe somebody came in the house, shot these two people. Well, before they shot these two people, got the gun out of Senior's nightstand, shot these two people, went downstairs to the third level, put the gun on the counter, took the time to write a note, and then left. Who the fuck is this? Houdini? Really? So I'm finding it real hard to believe. But AJ claims he saw a masked man. Oh, when did you see this masked man? You're on the third floor. Once again, I don't know the layout of the house. Maybe he can look over a banister or something like that and he can see him. So he saw him. He went to go hide. But how'd they get in? How'd they get out? Because if they left, then they would have left. The alarm should have went off. If the alarm's not going to go off because it's faulty, at least it'll show it. Oh, it's not showing that either? Okay. But then no doors were unlocked. No windows were unlocked. So he can't leave and lock up the place. Got keys? This is where they're saying, oh, it has to be the brother. But it's going to show if he opened up the door, you got to turn the alarm off. So what? He is supposedly laying in wait. Well, he couldn't be laying in wait because his ex-girlfriend took the stand to say he was with her. He wasn't with her. There was a period of time where, she was asleep and the defense is like, well, he could have got away in between there. Okay, he could have. But the parents had already set the alarm. So your laying in wait theory is shot to shit. So he didn't come, stay in there hiding, then kill him, then leave with his key without alarming or disalarming or disengaging the alarm. Really? So that's what they want us to believe, because there was a period of time where the brother, he's a stepbrother, was not, the girlfriend was asleep, so she doesn't know what he did. And then they say he dropped his grandmother off at the hospital, but didn't go in. And that's where I'm stuck. Like, well, they're saying he didn't go in and see his father. Well, was it his father? Because I could have sworn they said that he was the son of the mother, not the father. Yes, they could have raised him. He could have been around him, but that doesn't mean he liked him. It doesn't mean that he wanted to see him in that condition. Whatever the case may be, they're trying to say he's cruel, he's crazy, he's all of this. He should be their prime suspect because of all of his actions. Why? Because he didn't want to go into the hospital to see who might not be his biological father, to see, maybe he didn't want to see him in that condition. You know what I mean? It's so many things. So I'm like, that's not working for me. That whole story is not working for me. They're saying that the police, they interviewed him at the time, he came down while all this was going on. And he wasn't, I guess he wasn't crying or he wasn't acting like they wanted him to act, but the police were like, they didn't find him to be a valuable suspect because nothing about him was suspicious. So, everybody else around are trying to say, of course the defense. And I want to say even the grandmothers, for this matter, they may have been the one to put him on the chopping block for all I know, because I do know that one of the grandmothers came and she said, I know my grandson didn't do this, but if he did, it's because he was on drugs. Huh? Where we get? We just throwing shit out there? What you mean? I mean, that was the first thing she said. So it's like, huh? Well, wait, who on drugs now? So from now I'm thinking both of them on drugs? The older brother and the 16-year-old? So she already had a defense. She was to me. She came in like nobody's going to jail. That's how I feel. And or at least not AJ. So to me, it's like, the prosecution put on an alarm expert. So did the defense, and everybody's like, but I'm not falling for the faulty alarm system. There are some faults, and it does. One, it goes off for stupid reasons. You touch a window and it's going off. So it works in the negative effect, like to get you tickets from 911 because they had to come out to your house for a false alarm, but not to not go off at all when somebody had to come in and somebody had to go out. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm just like, nope, not falling for it. There was somebody who came forward and said that her husband and Armstrong Sr. was running a prostitution ring, and that could be a reason why. I mean, I'm not running a prostitution ring, and I'm not running anything streetwise. But if prostitution ring sounds a little bit deep. So you would think that if the person was mad and they're coming because you done stole their hoes, I don't know, whatever the case may be, you gonna come prepared. You coming with your own weapon because you don't know what's on the other side of that door. And then I don't know any, but I haven't heard of any traffickers or ring runners or anything like that are magicians, because you, once again, how the hell to get in the house? And then he's light as a feather on his toes because he didn't wake up an athlete who's running a prostitution ring, who should be sleeping real light when you committing some, you are part of a criminal activities going on. You know what I mean? Like, you're doing something, you're not sleeping. No, sorry. I find that very hard to believe. Then Armstrong Sr. had two other people come forward and say that they had notes. One said he had a note written on his car in the dirt that was on his car that said, "We're watching you." And another lady said she found a note, and that, of course, she didn't know anything about this case because she flew in from somewhere. And so it couldn't be her just trying to stick up for them. Okay, somebody's watching them. I still don't get it. I still don't get it. And so like I said, there could be so much more that could be said on why those 4 jurors thought that he wasn't guilty, but I'm still sticking with, I think he's guilty. To me, it's just, there's too much, where, he said he never touched a gun, then he did, then he didn't. He's looking up stuff online, and then he's telling them that he saw a masked man, but yet you was in the closet. Then you didn't go see about your sister. So it's just like so much, because you don't have to go see about your sister if you know you weren't gonna kill your sister. And how the sister didn't wake up, I don't know, because I've heard of 22. I've been to the gun range, but it's a whole lot going on. So I've been in a quiet environment, heard anybody shoot a 22 to know how loud it is. But she didn't hear anything. She didn't wake up. And the police even said she was still quite asleep when, groggy when they got there, because she was like totally out of it. Like she didn't understand, like she was still sleeping. You know how like you wake somebody up but they still kind of like dozing off, like that kind of. So it seems as though he didn't even wake her. Like he woke her minutes, like right when the police got there. And because they said that when they saw her, it was like she just woke up. So my thing is that for 31 minutes, he waited. He wasn't waking her up because she just woke up. And what was he doing? What were you doing for 31 minutes? I don't understand it. And then once again, for him to say it was his fault. Why is your fault? And that it's just so much that I'm like, I just can't see it being anybody else other than the 2 people who were in the house. And I do not believe that the 12-year-old had anything to do with it. So who does that leave? It leaves AJ. So you guys let me know what you think, because that's what I think. I am so looking forward to the new trial. Maybe some more stuff will come out that lets us know. But I can tell you that both sets of grandparents are behind him. He did an interview, where that's where he's saying, there was a masked man and, all of this stuff. And I'm just like, I don't find him believable. Just looking at him, he looks like a very good kid. He doesn't give you this rebellious kid vibe when you see him, and when you saw him in the interview, and the tears do seem real. And I honestly think that he did it and thoroughly regrets it. 100%. wholeheartedly regrets it. So that's my take on it. So you guys let me know in the comments what you think about it, and what you heard that I didn't speak on. And, you know, we're going to have to see what happens in April. And I want all of you to know that I am currently working on the Atlanta child murders. And because I do this as a hobby. So if you guys want me to look into a case, or, you know, get records and anything on a particular case, just leave me a comment. Or if you don't want to leave it in the comment, you can email me at beyondevil@email.com, and I will put it in. But I generally do ones that spark interest in me, because it's a hobby. I don't want it to turn into a job. I don't get paid for this. I'm not looking to get paid for this. So if I keep the same 100 viewers I have, I will be content. That's not what it is for me. I like having somebody to talk it out with and stuff like that. And none of my friends are into true crime. So you guys are my friends. But I'm doing the Atlanta child murders because I have always felt that Wayne Williams was railroaded for being called the Atlanta child murderer, not for being a murderer from Atlanta, because I do believe he's shady as shit. But I believe this whole entire situation got thoroughly mishandled, and it went totally awry. So stay tuned if you want to hear about that. It will be a longer podcast, as well as what the fuck video, because it is a whole lot of fuckery going on with that whole entire case. But so that'll be the next case that I tackle. And then if I see anything that sparks my interest in between there, I will bring it to you. I don't have any updates on the Lancaster man who decapitated 2 of his children. I'm still staying on that. I have heard a lot of things about the 2 little young boys who went missing in California City. There are so many people doing that case where I am not even attempting to. I'm mentioning it because it is close to home. It's about an hour and something away from me. So if you guys are interested in that, it's insane. I don't know how 2 little boys just poof. It's another magician. I tell you, it's another magician. But so stay tuned for that. And once again, like, subscribe. Let me know how you feel. Let me know what you're looking for, what you're not looking for. And hopefully we will be at it again in less than a week. I'm working on it. I got a day job. So once again, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And deuces.